coach Will Wade mentioned recently that he thought Matt Abel was going to end this season with several big-time performances, and the Wolfpack received one of those performances in the win over North Carolina when Abel scored 19 points for the Wolfpack, was impactful on the glass, knocked down 5 3-pointers. And today we're going to look at his game in this game, the first rivalry game for Abel in his NC State career, and he was outstanding. Let's jump right into it. And one of the things that I thought you noticed from Abel in this win was his confidence shooting the basketball. We've seen him shoot it better here recently. He's bumped his three-point percentage up to 38%. And this is early in the game. NC State's up 3. This is a transition 3. It starts with Kadir Copeland getting in the paint. What a pass right into his shooting pocket to Abel, who gets to his spot and just shoots it with confidence. No hesitation, no thinking about it, just lets it go. Similar deal here, a little later in the first half. You see Matt Abel once again. The ball's going to be moved up the court. And I know at times I've talked about Abel doing a little bit too much off the dribble, but I think if you're going to see him take the next step and become maybe a 1A or 1B offensive threat for NC State, he has to be better off the dribble. And you see him here using Musa Sanya's screen to step into a slot three-pointer. And what I like about this play here from him is it's in rhythm. There's not a lot of second guessing it. Even just the balance on that three-point shot there. Just look at him just kind of set into it and shoot it with confidence, gets his feet set. It's a contest, but with Abel right now, I think for State, you want to limit these, but you want him to be able to make these. Because like I said, for him moving forward, he's got to become a player State can rely on off the dribble if he's going to be a 1, 2, or 3 option for State down the road. And so plays like this are exciting if you're Will Wade. But really, like I said, I think still it comes down to be able to knock down that catch and shoot three-pointer. And you'll notice, I think, and I'm watching this now, I feel like every one of these 5 threes he makes are going to come from the left side of the court, and 4 of them were out of the slot right here, not even from the corner. You saw him hitting them from the slot, which is a spot where, as a player, if that's your spot, you get to it, you shoot them with confidence, and you see him again here. This one's contested, but like I said, in rhythm. Even if it's contested, it's in rhythm. One of the areas I thought for him, again, in the second half, same deal. His ability to knock down. Here you see him using a ghost screen. Notre Dame confuses it. And this is the gravity that Kadir Copeland has, because when Copeland's on the ball, you have to understand and be attached as a defense in terms of how you want to defend him. And so it can lead to confusion. And you see here, Abel's man is so worried about Copeland that he's switching it. But Seth Trimble doesn't feel, and this is why ghost screen is one of my best actions, or the best actions to run, I think, from a screening standpoint with a shooter, because Trimble doesn't even know he's getting screened. So he's not looking to switch that. Whereas you see, I think that's Dixon for North Carolina, he's switching it because he thinks Abel's setting that and releases. So he's releasing Abel to Trimble, but because of the ghost action, they confuse it, and Abel, once again, left slot, knocks it down, in rhythm, hits it with confidence. Here's another one later in the game. The game's pretty much over at this point. 1.5 minutes to go. Allen Bree gets the ball across half court, and similar action here. Now they switch that one, but Abel relocates, knocks down the slot three-pointer. Moving without the basketball. This is a play that I think a confident player is going to be making. Yeah, he's even up 21 with 1.5 minutes to go. He's still hunting points. He's still looking to shoot, looking to score, looking to create, looking to make things happen, and sets this screen. And North Carolina handles this one better now. What you do with a ghost screen defensively is you just turn it into a screen. So if I'm on the ball and I feel that ghost action coming, I'm just going to just attach and make my guy switch it. But I think the relocation is what got Abel open on this one. And Bree does a good job, back his man down, gets it to Abel for the knockdown three-pointer. And then he was good on the glass. We're going to talk about that here in a second on the defensive end, but even on the offensive end, creating extra opportunities. And I'm going to do a film room on the offensive rebounding from NC State in this game. It was impactful, I thought. And it was more just the willingness to offensive rebounding. You see Abel here. At times we've seen NC State's guards. And look at the comparison, for instance. You got Trey Holloman at the bottom of the screen, and you have Abel at the top of the screen. This three goes up. Holloman celebrating, walking backwards. Abel is just getting in the mix, just willing to put himself in the mix. Quadir Copeland's already out of the screen, backpedaling, getting back on defense. But Abel's willingness to be in the mix, in the scrum, leads to an extra possession, extra shot, and an offensive putback for NC State. And NC State was good on the offensive glass in this game, and I think in part because you had guys more willing to get around the basket. And this was Abel here just being around, being aware, and it leads to an extra possession and an easy offensive rebound putback for Abel. Defensively, I think you've seen him make strides, and really it's been the competitiveness with him, and it's been the physicality he's playing with. And we know with NC State, they're going to switch pretty much 1 through 5, especially with Musa Sanya on the floor. And so oftentimes their State's guards are going to get caught on post players, and so you have to be physical and not allow yourself to get manhandled. And you see him here get switched on Zayden High, and Abel's working. And I think that initial disruption to take away the rhythm of the pass. And you see Carolina's point guard look the other way when initially he can't go there, so he has to look another way. Now Abel smartly understands he's coming back to him, and he's able to jump that and get a steal. But this is just competing. This is not allowing myself to be screened, not allowing a bigger player to get the ball. Working on defense. You only have 2 team fouls as a team. If they call one, great. They take it out of bounds, we set back up. But if they don't, I'm able to work and get a steal, which he does there. And like I said, I did want to talk about Abel's rebounding on the defensive end as well, because I think that's an area where we know NC State, not only in these switches are they going to have to defend the ball and defend post players on actions, they have to be willing rebounders. And you see him here get switched on Jaren Stevenson, and he rotates back out, but he's just kind of working himself for a loose 50-50 ball. And those are the ones that we've talked about with State the last couple of games, competing to get those balls. I mean, that one, if you're out trying to box out, you maybe Jonathan Powell gets that from North Carolina. But Abel sticks his nose in there, and he's able to get that one and then the possession. Here's another one in the first half, three-pointer, 2-on-1 with Zayden High, and just competing, not settling, not allowing the bigger man to get the ball, and a really, really good save from Abel that leads to a transition opportunity or run out for NC State on the offensive end. But like I said, it's just competing. It's not conceding anything to the opposition. He's not saying, well, I think Van Allen Lubin's automatically going to get this rebound because he's in good position. Abel's fighting for the basketball. And those are the types of plays, like I said, State needs to make more of here down the stretch. We've got another one here on the offensive side. You see North Carolina get the rebound. They're pushing the ball. Abel now is matched up on Trimble. He gets the switch back on the High. Boxing out this time and boarding. And, you know, a lot of times we talk about from a rebounding standout, boxing out and getting rebounds in your area, but also being able to detach and get rebounds out of your area. And you see him here. He starts boxing out high, but then you've got Jaren Stevenson crashing, and Abel's still able to come up and secure that rebound. Rebounding is going to be huge for State down the stretch. And I think Abel's doing more of it, and when he's rebounding at this level, it's allowing him to stay on the court longer. We've shown this one before, but this is the lone offensive rebound he had in the game for a basket. You also saw him at the free throw line, just getting in the mix, right? Like just getting in the mix and securing 50-50 balls. How many of these do we see NC State not get against Miami on Saturday? I mean, these are the types of plays that if you make these against Miami, you win that game. Go look at the final minute or two of that game. Multiple times they had a chance to come up with a loose ball like this and was unable to get it done. But I thought Abel and others did it all night long, for the most part, against North Carolina. We know early on UNC was able to grab some 50-50 balls, but I thought State settled in and was better in that regard later in the game. And the final one here you've got of him from a rebounding standpoint. Once again, he's matched up in the paint with Jaren Stevenson. He's competing against him. And what I like from him there, you see him, like Stevenson's trying to work to get the ball, but Abel doesn't concede it. And because of that, Stevenson just backs out. He quits. He quits on the post up. You see him, Abel still down low fighting for position. Really good box out there. It leads to an offensive rebound or a foul, just kind of an additional possession for NC State because he's fighting and competing, boxing out, forcing Stevenson to foul there. So look, Matt Abel was terrific for NC State in the win over North Carolina, and we've seen him continue to make strides. And I think where NC State's at right now is you tend to know what you're going to get from Quadir Copeland. You know what you're going to get from Van Allen Lubin. pretty much every night you know what you're going to get from Darian Williams. And now it's becoming Paul McNeil and Matt Abel. Can you get a big night from one of them, at least one of them, every night? And against North Carolina, the duo combined for 29 points, but it was really Matt Abel who I thought was the star of the show for NC State along with Kadir Copeland. And the freshman is really, really stepping up his game, and it's picking up right here at the right time for NC State, as we know they're working their way towards the end of the regular season in the postseason play. So we'll see if Abel can build on this performance against Virginia. But he was terrific for NC State in the win over North Carolina.